This is the Amplify Your Business podcast with Matt J. Hannum, where I have candid conversations with inspiring people and turn topics inside out to help you get amplified in business and in life. Welcome to the show, everyone. It's another lovely day here in Perth. Actually, no, it's not. It's raining. It's a little miserable. Pretty unlike Perth conditions, but we can't complain. I think the farmers are happy. There's some rain about, but anyway, I digress. Welcome to the show, and today's an Inside Out episode, and I'm going to be discussing morning routines, I suppose, but largely not mine necessarily, and some of the other ones that we've maybe talked about before, because I know morning routines has popped up in the past, but I did read an article recently, and it just broke down a few morning rituals that obviously vary a little bit by some pretty amazing celebrities and I guess leaders in their space. And I thought it might be cool just to run through a couple of ideas and might give you some ideas about how you might implement or add some of these actions, because largely they're not long tasks. They don't take too long, but add some of these into your day. Yeah, so I'm really going to be talking about four morning routines that the greats swear by. So I guess the best morning routine for a successful day is one that you continue to do. I mean, the truth is there's the big problem with these, and morning routines is a real buzz term, is that, you start and stop and don't necessarily continue on with these things. But, if you've read a lot of self-help, or you've immersed, or if you are immersed, I guess, in the entrepreneurial community, you'll understand that it's considered pretty important and an imperative in some people's mindsets and views to building a successful life. Morning routines set you up to do your best work. I'm going to break down some successful routines of some legends, I guess. Certainly legends to me, Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Oprah Winfrey, and Jocko Willink. And I think they are a nice little contrast of people and doing different things with their life. Well, largely, although in some ways and respects, they're all in, media facing and have some similarities in what they do. But I'm going to break down a couple of their routines and just, I guess, talk through what they're doing and how it might be impactful and also just discuss my experience with some of these things as well. First one will be Tony Robbins, and he's clearly the absolute master, or I am your guru of self-discipline, understanding the psychology of success, and certainly fulfillment and happiness, which he tries to talk about, I think, a lot of late. And he has sort of a 3-part ritual called priming. Now, some of you might be aware of this or not, but firstly, you can actually even witness him going through a bit of this process if you watch his documentary, which is on Netflix, I think still, called I Am Not Your Guru. So he performs 3 sets of, I'm going to butcher this, but it's actually pronounced Kapalabhati. Actually, that's not right. Kapalabhati pranayama. Anyway, their breaths. And I think I'll edit that out, which I probably won't, but their breaths, and he performs 30 of these sort of quickly, and they're basically these sort of deep breaths that he pushes through very fast. As I said, if you watch him on I'm Not Your Guru, or if you, well, I'll link this somewhere, you won't be able to Google it off my pronunciation, but he does 30 of these breaths first thing in the morning, and closes his eyes, slows his breathing down, and then expresses gratitude for what he has. And I think he usually goes through a 1, 2, 3-step process. He then does a bit of prayer and asks for help and guidance and strength throughout the day. And that's pretty much his morning routine. Now, he's doing a few things there to activate different things in the body and the system, but it's an interesting routine. A lot of people I've heard about swear by using some of the aspects and certainly some of the breathing. I have done this in patches and really enjoyed it. It has some similarities to, although different, it has some similarities to a guy called Wim Hof, which you might be aware of as well. And I've found it quite interesting to form these quick, fast breaths, and you sort of almost somewhat hyperventilate in a way during the process. But it's a nice way to start the morning. It sort of definitely wakes you up, fires you up, and gets you ready to go. I do believe he then moves to doing some working out, and he also does things like a cold plunge and that as well. But in this particular group of information that I pulled together, it's these are the sort of 3 steps on what he does when he primes, and then he goes off and still has a couple of other activities which just helps him get going. So that's Tony Robbins. I mean, he does things like that every day. I mean, what do you do every day? You get up and kettle on and have a quick coffee, and not that anything is wrong with that, but he's dedicated time and discipline to doing this on a regular basis, and it's proven successful, at least in his perception of it. So maybe something to think about. Second one I was going to add, and he's the absolute master. I'd pay close attention to Tim Ferriss. He not only has his own morning rituals, he has literally interviewed thousands of successful leaders from all walks of life, with one of his big questions being, what does your morning ritual look like? So for Tim Ferriss, the first thing he does is make his bed. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but it's a starting point to be and creating some form of achievement in his day. And if you can do that with your first task, and I guess you've cracked, the starting point for the day going, hey, I've been successful. He meditates for 10 to 20 minutes using various formats. And I think he self-confesses that he's not particularly great at meditating and doesn't feel that comfortable, but persists. The third thing he does is 30 seconds of light exercise. And I believe he does all this before he leaves his bedroom. One of the changes to this, which I think I'm aware of, is I think he actually has an exercise bike now, and he actually does some a bit more than 30 seconds of light exercise first thing in the morning. But I think he still does all this first thing before he even leaves his bedroom. I think he maybe does a 20 or 30 minute workout on a bike, and then moves off and has a strong cup of tea and then finishes off with the routine of 5 to 10 minutes of journaling. To break that down, you're achieving something small by making the bed. I mean, meditation and mindfulness is a great place to start, and especially with a bit of visioning, if you want to bring that in. Doing some light exercise to get the body moving, a strong cup of tea, and then finishing off with some journaling. And I know that he does journal around some gratitude and things as well, so he definitely brings gratitude in. And if you look at the first two already, Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss, they both have some similar elements around some form of like breathwork / activity, some meditative type practices, some visioning type practices, and definitely some sort of journaling and an approach to the start of their morning. So, I don't know which one you think might be best now, but maybe there's a great idea, something that you can pull out there that can help you get going in the start of your day. Remarkably similar again, we move to Oprah Winfrey, and she starts her day off with 20 minutes of meditation. In this regard, she says it fills her with hope and a sense of contentment and deep joy. After the 20 minutes, she hits the treadmill for 15, and then she does what she calls tuning herself in. And so by going for a walk, listening to music, or preparing a nice meal, that's how she dials in and gets ready for the day. And she always concludes her morning ritual by eating a healthy meal full of carbs, fiber, and protein. Interesting in a lot of respects. And I think the other two haven't talked about their food, but they're quite important elements of their morning routine as well. I know Tim Ferriss has done a lot around what he eats first thing in the morning, and you can look that up later. But same thing, right? And then let's flip across to Jocko. So for those of you who don't know who Jocko Willink is, he's a former Navy SEAL commander who led Team 3's task unit Bruiser during the height of the Iraq War. So he was in some pretty tough environments, right? And largely, I guess you can expect this response from his morning routine. Wakes up at 4:30, has 3 alarms to make sure he sticks to his routine. Yeah, I mean, I use 2 sometimes. Sometimes that's, usually that's enough. But 3 alarms make sense. He is not going to compromise on that 4:30 a.m. wake up. He jumps straight into a 1-hour grueling strength gym workout, followed by a 30-minute jog, and he hits the shower by 6 a.m. He's maybe lacking some of the other elements on face value, but is he? Like, if you're doing an hour of a grueling strength workout, I guarantee there's some mindfulness and meditation in the way and in his approach. He doesn't talk about gratitude there, but I know that gratitude is something that he has talked about, and he probably brings that in. So even though that's the Navy SEAL cut, that's the different version for you, it's very much, I think, largely the same thing. So you have to look at the similarities in what these people are doing. Now, it doesn't matter who you are. It seems obvious that if you get up at the right time, do some form of meditation and mindfulness. And look, if this is not your thing, if that sounds a bit woo-woo to you, maybe you just go for a light walk around the block a couple of times. That could be enough just to, I guess, tune yourself in, as Oprah's talked about. Now, she did that after her meditation, but that's all that is. That's just that dialing in, that focus, that I guess looking for some inner peace or / nothingness, like to stop that monkey brain from going out of control. It can be for anyone, but if you can find a way to bring in a little bit of activity, a little bit of, I guess, downtime in that, sort of quietening the brain, however you do that, find a bit of gratitude and have some form of healthy meal. And I don't mean healthy like the latest cereal that's come out. Find like a legitimately healthy meal. It seems that you are on the money. Now, everyone would have a different approach. There's going to be different things that work for you. So if you think about those elements, like how can you bring that into your life? What makes sense for you? And how can you do it so it can be committed to? Is a morning routine for everyone? Well, yeah, I think so. I think it can help anyone and everyone. And certainly if you're, let's say you're a night person, I don't think that matters. If your morning's at 10 a.m., well, it's at 10 a.m. Everyone can achieve it, and it doesn't take time. It doesn't take money. It can be difficult when you've got distractions or you're working late in business, working all hours into the night. And children, look, I've got 2 children. I've got one coming. It's, it can be a challenge. And it is a challenge. I don't achieve my morning rituals all the time, but they're practices that do help me. But how can you, I guess, set up simple things that anyone can do? And really the answer to all of it is just setting up something simple that suits you and just having some self-discipline. And you have to want to set your day up. A lot of us just maybe aren't looking forward to our day and we're not really caring about it. Well, that could be a problem, more so than your morning routine. But if you want to set yourself up, you want to get going, this maybe is a great place to start to get your morning routine right. Maybe you hate your job. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you can get this set up and running. Keep it simple. What is it? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Visually plan out your day and set your targets and goals during this time. Maybe that busy morning doesn't need to be so busy if you were just well planned out with your actions and understood what was going on, and you can build this into your morning routine. Just to, I guess, clarify right now, I'll give you what I would consider my actual morning routine, which is not what I want to be doing, but this is actually what I'm achieving right now. I currently wake up. I often do a quick meditation or some form of mindfulness, and if I find myself already in the shower and I haven't got that far, I'll do it there. I'll just standing, just sort of quickly, just go internally, just try and get a few minutes. Sometimes I have a couple little mantras and things that I can use in there, and I'll do one of those things. Look, is that perfect versus me sitting up and maybe sitting at the end of the bed or whatever and doing something? Well, no, but it's still there. I'll have a light breakfast unless I'm skipping it and doing some form of fasting or something if I am. And I actually then will get ready, get organized, probably have a cup of tea in the morning, and then I'll jump in the car and I'll call out to Siri and I'll say, use my morning drive shortcut. So my morning drive shortcut is something that I set up on my iPhone, which basically plays to me a audio track, which is my vision. And then it will throw on my most recent audiobook and get that started. So what my vision is I sat down and wrote out a 3-year vision and put that pen to paper, and then I recorded it and put a little bit of just relaxation music in the background. And basically it's me talking to me about my vision. And I listen to that and go to that every drive, every morning. And I found that really powerful. Now there's, at the moment, when I'm working out, it's more likely to be in the evening and other things. So I'm not working out quickly in the morning. There's a few other things that I've sort of skipped, but that is my current routine. That's probably my current routine in a little bit of a dysfunctional fashion, but I've still got some key elements in there. And that's why it doesn't matter. I'm not going to beat myself up over that, but I've got to just keep doing that. So, because tomorrow I might be able to implement that other thing back into it, and then my routine might be sort of more complete. But right now, it's where I am. and I have to be comfortable and kind with myself. That is where I am. Which is the same approach now if you fall out of your routine, because if you start something new now, I can almost guarantee that it will fail quickly. That's fine, because to form this habit, you need to do it for longer and have a break and figure it out and get back and keep getting back on that horse every time. And that is literally the only answer for all of it. If you fail, no worries, try and do it tomorrow. Just keep doing that. And literally the answer is to be kind to yourself. So you're not going to always get it right. You're going to miss things, you're going to add things. But when you do this for some time, you realize, well, actually, no, hang on. I've adjusted my habits. I mean, I'd say you probably have a shower every morning before you go out. That's just become a habit. So why can't this become a habit too? And see if you can integrate some of these key things in your life. Let me just roll back into them again. So some form of meditation or mindfulness, something to get you kick-started, some form of activity and working out, ideally, some gratitude practice and a healthy meal, and you're on your way to start the day. I'd love to know what your practices are. Do let me know what you do, what you find best. If you've got anything that you think is different, or if you completely disagree with some of this stuff that you've heard about, what hasn't worked for you? What do you think is just ridiculous? Just the garbage that everyone's talking about right now, because there's a lot of vocal people around morning routines. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. And so hit me up on all the usual places on social or via DM or wherever you want at Matt J. Hannam, MattJHanham. And thank you very much for listening as always. Please share it with someone who you think might get some value, and I look forward to speaking with you next time. Until then, ciao.